Hello, hello, hello. God bless everyone, and welcome to another episode of Espacio Podcast. This is episode 136, where we're going to be talking about Christian Youth Chronicles. A little different. Today's episode is going to be a little different. It's going to be an all English episode for our English speakers. So, si usted no habla inglés, I don't know what to tell you. um, I'm accompanied today by two special guests. We have Brother Jacob and Brother Frank. Jacob and Frank, how are you guys doing, man?
Doing
Yeah,
pretty good, man.
doing pretty good, man.
Yeah, a little nervous. But
No
That's good.
pressure, no pressure. It's gonna be a great conversation. I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to introduce yourselves, let the people, the viewers, know a little bit about yourself, who you are, and yeah. So Jacob, we'll start with you.
all right, so my name is Jacob Molina. I'm from Charlotte. I'm 19. Um, my pastor is Pastor Deborah Gonzalez, and I'm from Zona 13. And I'm
Awesome,
happy to be
awesome.
here too. Appreciate the
We're,
invite and everything.
of course, we're happy to have you, Frank, Big Frank.
Hey, my name is Frank Guzman, from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm 18 from Zone 13 with the Pastora Deborah as well. So pleasure to be here.
Awesome, man.
Appreciate the invite as well.
Of course, I'm happy that you guys are here. And I think one of the funniest things about it is that when we did invite you guys, we didn't even know you guys went to the same church. It was like a coincidence. So a huge shout out, like Sister Ismaria is saying, to Zone 13, which is composed of the Carolinas, I believe, right? Carolinas and
Mhm.
the coastal part of Georgia.
No, it's just North Carolina, and then I think part of South Carolina.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
that's another sauna. So, yeah,
Yeah.
we're happy that you guys are here. Happy that you guys are taking the time out of your busy schedules and having this conversation with us. Um,
Of
you
course.
know, you said you were 19 and 18. I think
Yes,
Yeah.
that
sir.
when I think about that period of my life, it probably was very similar to you guys, being involved in church, being, finishing up with school, being in school, and just starting to to begin to figure out who you are as a person, or trying to figure out what you want to do. um all these different things that you're juggling, especially in that age. So I kind of wanted to start with that, just asking you guys, what what's life looking like for you right now? Do you have like any type of short-term goals that you have in mind that you kind of want to accomplish before you start thinking about your long-term goals? Let me know, what's that looking like for you, Jacob?
Um, well, as far as I say, like short-term goals, um, for now, I think just like you said, trying to figure out what to do. I didn't go to college or anything like that. Um, Thinking about just maybe starting my own business personally. I just think that's the better route for me. Um, and then trying to get more involved in church as well. I think this year our church started including more of the youth into the different ministries and stuff like that. So um, just like I said, getting closer to God as well, and then maybe some financial goals too. Uh,
Absolutely.
Thinking about it now, I do want to go to I don't know if you guys have heard the Congreso de Europa.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we kind of saving up for that right now because it's gonna take a good amount of money.
Not only that, man, it's such a, I don't want to say life-changing event, but it's like it's something that we're not used to. It's so different, especially going to a whole different continent.
Yeah,
Being able to witness what it's like, not only on a local level, as far as like being able to adventure. Italy, which is a beautiful country, but also being able to witness like what it's like for people to praise God and worship God in a whole different continent. So I
Yeah.
think that's something that's very cool, and it's very different. Um, Frank, talk to me a little bit about yourself.
Um, so right now, same thing with me. Like I got a bunch of short-term goals. Like for example, one of my biggest ones is being able to grow in the church. Hopefully, this is the year that I may be able to get baptized. So that's something I'm really, looking forward, really praying about really hard, and just trying to get more involved in the church. It's been pretty rough, but it's going in the right direction. I'm really proud of that. I also got some financial goals as well. So coming out of high school, I was kind of thrown into the workforce. So I've just been at this stable job that I got right there. Trying to make the best out of it. And like Jacob said, we're both trying to go to Italy as well. So I'm trying to gotta save up for that. But yeah, some long term goals, is for sure to, have like something of your own at one point, like a company, your own business, own like, property, then have a wife one day and get married.
Hey,
Yeah, I
that's
forgot to say that too, Marvin.
Hmm. For
Get
sure.
married.
FYI, ladies, these two guys are on the market. So if anyone wants, to reach out, by all means, hey, we do it the right way. Do it in prayer, and then you reach out to these fellas. There's nothing wrong with having conversation, and that's how you get to meet people. That's how I met my wife. So there's nothing wrong with that. I actually vouch for that. So one thing that I do want to say that I really admire from you guys at such a young age is definitely you guys have kind of a clear cut understanding of where you want to be at, especially short term and long term, and I think that that's very important. And yes, you know what you want materially speaking, but you also know what you want spiritually speaking. And I think that, looking back at myself at 18, 19 years old, I think that's the last thing I was thinking about. And I admire you guys for that because it shows. I don't want to sound like a creep, but I see you guys. I see you guys as like church stuff pop up, and I can see how you guys just don't speak it. You guys actually you're actually looking for God, and that's something that I admire. Me at my I hit 30 last year. I'm hitting 31 this year. I wish I could have taken advantage of that time when I was 18, 19 years old. And things probably would have been a lot different now. But what can I say, man? I definitely do admire you guys for that and having that longing for God. Because let me tell you, the problems that you may be facing right now at 18, 19 years old are only going to grow in scale. And the problems that you deal with now, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, man, was I really tripping over something like that? Because they're only going to get greater. So with that being said, we kind of want to jump into the topic. And let's talk about these Christian Youth Chronicles. And I want to know, can you guys kind of briefly summarize what being a Christian means to you personally? And we can start with Jacob.
Yeah, so for me, I'd say um mainly just being different. I think obviously it's I think one of the most hated upon religions. So when I say I'm Christian, and people just look at me like, oh, okay, well, but more than that is like you said, living it instead of just saying it. Um, living in faith, living in fully trusting God.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think honestly, sometimes I hear about, people going back to the world and stuff like that after giving their life to Christ. I don't want to jinx myself or anything, but I can't see it. I can't see myself like going back ever. I mean, it's like even though I grew up in church, um, life is just so much more different now than before. When I didn't know
Hmm.
God, um, it was like it was meaningless, you know, and only God really gives value to your life. So for me, it's kind of um, personally, it's also is to feel loved by God. I mean, God loves you whether or not you love Him back. But when you're a Christian
That's
and you
true.
give your life to God, you actually feel it. And when I wasn't Christian, that was one of the things that I struggled with was feeling loved, personally. But when I came to the feet of Jesus, you know, you just realize how much love He has for you, and nothing else really matters after that.
And you said a very important point. You hit on a very important point where you're like, one thing is to grow up in church, and I've heard this saying many times, and it's like one thing is to know about God, but one thing is to know God.
Mm.
And it's very easy to do the routine of, you know, Monday, what is it? Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I already know I have to go to church, and you become kind of desensitized to it, and you're like, all right, if it's in my case, my dad was my pastor, so it's like,
Oh wow.
it's like I hear this man's voice at home, I hear this man's voice at church, like I kind of dissociate. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't know how to differentiate, like, my pastor to my dad.
Mhm.
And it kind of became where it was like I would zone out, and it's like I was there but I wasn't there. And especially at that age, man, it's like you got so many other things you think about. And the devil kind of plants that seed in your mind where it's like, dude, you can bounce and you can come back at 28, 29, and church is going to be there. You know what I mean? But it's so important to have that encounter with God. And like you said, coming to the feet of Jesus and understanding that it doesn't matter what you do in life. It doesn't matter, you know, what monetary success you have or what professional success you have. You said something very important, that it says that I want to be able to encounter, and I want to be able to, uh feel loved by God. And I think that there's a saying that, his love surpasses everything, and it's great, and it's something that it's undescribable, and until you feel that, you don't understand that. So, Frank, I kind of wanted to hear your point of this as well. Like, you know what was being a Christian, growing up, and what does being a Christian mean to you?
Yeah. So growing up, I grew up in the church, Christian, which honestly a lot of us take for granted. It's honestly a blessing that we had that opportunity to grow in the
Amen.
church, and not having any other side, like, how do I say, like, not having a lot of like other distractions.
Yeah.
You were kind of mainly focused there. You were taking, even if it's something, you weren't taking because you wanted to go, just you were just taking because of your parents. It's for sure something that we take for granted. But I know, like, growing up in the church, like, you start seeing things, like as you grow older, like you start like seeing why, why the hermanos are, like, crying in the service. You see why they're praising God, why they're adoring God. You see all these things, and slowly you start to understand it, because you start feeling the vibe, in the church. You start feeling that, oh wait, this feels different. So you slowly start understanding and growing in the church. And that was something that happened to me. I slowly went understanding why people did the things they did, and why they were doing this and that. um but to me, honestly, being a Christian personally means, like, having that relationship with God. It's something that, you have somebody, that's always going to be there, faithful to you. Always somebody you could just lean on whenever in times of weakness. things aren't going well for you, you always have somebody to go and speak to whenever whenever that happens. And for me, it's just like something that a lot of people, like how Jacob said, a lot of people like hate and like discriminate some people. Um, I know at, especially when you're like in places like school, like, going in school, a lot of people, not a lot of people take
Definitely.
pride that they're Christian. Um, yeah, not a lot of people take pride in that. And sometimes they just stay quiet. Sometimes they could even say, hey, I'm not Christian. They deny that they're Christian simply because of the place that they're people they're surrounded by, how they make them feel. But honestly, now I'm in a much better place. It's something I've embraced in my life and something I'm not, embarrassed to say to this day. And I'm honestly very thankful for that. Um, but yeah, that's what it would mean, having that strong relationship with God and, being able to embrace it in today's society.
No, definitely. And, it's funny because the next question that we're going to jump into kind of talks about the challenges that we face um, as Christian youth. And I think the challenges that you guys are facing now are completely different to the challenges I was facing. Um, growing up, I was church was my identity. Church was what, that's all I knew. Um, you know, I grew up in a Christian home. Grew up, my dad was a deacon at the church, so I'd hardly ever missed a service. Then my dad got called into ministry when I was like 10, and that's when, I became a pastor's kid, and that's when life really turned around. Because it's like, how I went from just being another kid at the church to now being the pastor's kid. And the years went by. We were at a town here in Florida for 7 years, and we moved to Texas, and we were there for 5 years. And I think for me, my biggest challenge was, I kind of didn't want people to identify me as that. It's like, and it's funny because my mom would drop us off. Uh, it was the only car we had because we had sold everything we had, and we had to go. Um, we had to go all in to help out the church, so we had a church van. So my mom would drop me off at school at the church van, and I would be like, "Yo, if you're gonna
That's
drop me
crazy.
off at the end." Like at the end, I don't want anyone to see me. They're gonna be like, "Bro, this guy's pulling up in the church van." So it's like I already had this identity crisis where it's like I don't want people to know that. I don't want people to know that my dad was a pastor. When people would be like, "Hey, what," you know, that's a common question. What do your parents do for a living? My dad actually is a truck driver, so that's what I would say. Like it's
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah, it's like that's the last thing I would say. I was like, I'm not gonna tell them that I'm a pastor's kid because it's like I already deal with a lot of scrutiny as it is at church. Why am I gonna bring this upon myself at school? And not only that, like you kind of want to fit in. You want to, it's like I don't want to feel like the oddball out. So you start to
Yeah.
fall into peer pressure, and you start falling into all these other things where it's like I remember I remember one time, one of the I think one of the first things you do as a someone that's uh, born into the church, I started listening to secular music, and I kind of found my way around. Like I've always been very mischievous. Like it's like I'm gonna find my way around it. So I started listening to secular music, and that's back in the day when MP3 players came out. So it's like I would hook up my MP3 player to the computer. I had my playlist there, and it's like I was like, I'm gonna find my way around it. I got to the point, bro, that I was I was so I was so mischievous, bro, that I had renamed all the songs that I was listening to Christian songs.
That is crazy. I'm not
So
gonna
it's
lie.
like I'm not gonna get caught. And it's like, and that's just that was my thing. It's like I want to have another identity that is not being a Christian. And as I got older, it's like I got to, 18, 19 years old. And I started to understand the concept of, bro, you're not lying to anyone but yourself. And, it's like, and Jackie says, Jackie says something very important. She goes, fitting in at school is hard. Um, but it's okay to be alone. But being alone is better, and I don't want to, take over the episode because it's not about me, it's about you guys. But um when we moved from Florida to Texas, because my dad got relocated to go pastor a different church, I moved my senior year of high school.
Oh,
The summer of my senior year of high school. And I had already like made up my mind of like the things that I was gonna do going into my senior year. Like I had it all planned out. I was like, I'm gonna lie to my dad about this and that. I'm going to prom. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Like I had it ready. I had a group of friends that my life revolved around, and I remember that we moved, and my life did a complete 180. It's like I went from being around a group of people to now it's like, let me figure this thing out on my own.
Mhm.
And when school starts, and it's like, bro, like who's making friends senior year? No one is. It's like your
No.
your group of friends is all set,
yeah.
and you really don't really make friends like that. So I remember, bro, that was like the loneliest point of my life, because it's like I would just go to school, do my classes, and get out. And I
Mhm.
began to become resentful to my father, because it's like, yo, like I'm going through all of this because of you. And it's like God has a funny way of working this out, because I was like, I can't imagine what my life would have been like had I stayed here.
Yeah.
Because you know it's very easy to say, oh, I'm not going to fall into peer pressure, until you really have to face that moment.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to ask you guys the same thing. It's like, for you, what has been some of the biggest challenges that you've faced as a Christian, as a Christian young adult?
For me, I think well, I gave my life to Christ after I graduated, so I really was never in that school setting while being Christian at the same time. But
Mm.
even then, honestly, before, I think probably since I can remember, I was always, like you said, just embarrassed, honestly, of saying, "Oh no, I got to go to church later. I can't go do this." Or, well, back then we used to have church every day except Monday. So it was my life
No
was really just,
way.
yeah, pre-COVID, pre-COVID we were going to church twice on Sundays, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So for me it was really just like um go to school, come home, do homework, go to church, and then same thing. Um but I know
Did you
that when I
guys
gave my
did
life,
did you ever try? I know Frank probably did, but did you ever try like doing extracurricular stuff at school, like sports band or anything like that? And it was like, did your parents ever like tell you, no, you can't do that because you got to go to church?
yeah, well, I was on the soccer team in middle school, but um it's crazy because now my little siblings, I mean, they're like 8 and 10. They're both doing extracurricular stuff, and I'm just like, where was that at? With me.
Yes.
Yeah, which sucks, but yeah, I remember I wanted freshman year I wanted to be in band as well, but I couldn't because we had church and all those field trips as well, the stay at hotel field trips. Nah, because we had church. And then my dad also, he's one of those that he's not missing church for anything almost,
For
honestly.
nothing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's stayed with me now. Even now is like he if he's 30 minutes he's 30 minutes early to church, he's on time. That's on time for him. So um he was that kind of strict. So for me it was like, yeah, church is almost everything for me. And then when I did give my life to Christ, I had already graduated, so I think what I struggled with most was at work. Uh, believe it or not, me and Frank used to work at the same place too. So he knows, he knows. They play music, they play secular music all the time. And for me, when I wasn't Christian, I mean, I would listen to music like 24/7. Any type of music, like, I don't want to get too deep into that, but if you ask me anything about hip hop, I probably knew most of it because that's just how it was, you know what I'm saying? But
Mm.
they play a lot of secular music at the place I used to work at, and I remember struggling every day, especially like when I had just converted. I'd be like, dang, I can't be jamming at this song, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
And it's so
uh
hard to like to like what's it called? What's the word? Like ignore it.
yeah,
It's and
Not
yeah,
that.
because music is one of those things where you just, I mean, you
You
gotta
hear it
listen to it.
everywhere.
Yeah, you gotta listen to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that job especially for me it was because Frank knows, like I said, Frank knows they curse a lot. They talk about, I mean, the dumbest things. It's a tire shop, so you just hear all kind of crazy things in there. And I think it was a struggle for me up until when I left that job was kind of just standing out because we're not really meant to fit in. Um, And so it was kind of giving that testimony that, okay, I'm a changed man now. And um, I got to let go of all the worldly things that I used to do, sin, um, and just kind of give that testimony that God really did do his work in my life. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, other than that, I think um, as a youth too, I think we're more than older people, I guess we're easily influenced as well. Because like you said, we're still trying to find out who we are. So for for anyone that's listening, I think um you just gotta have that conviction and that faith and trust in God that he'll lead you through it the whole time.
amen.
Amen.
But yeah,
And I think it's very important that you know one of the things that I struggled with was it's like all right, like it's like all right, I'm gonna try this for the 100th time. I'm gonna try to be I'm gonna try to be right with God for like the 100th time.
yeah,
But it's like I think for me, man, it was a lot difficult because I really didn't have like a group of friends that I could rely on that were on the same mission as me. So I think I think for you guys, being in the same church and kind of have being on the same mission and understanding, like there's days that I'm not gonna have the drive to worship today, or I'm not gonna have the drive to pick up my Bible and read it or pray, and it's like and having people around you that can push you to do that is so important. It's so important to have a community that can allow you to say be real with yourself. It's like, hey man, I don't feel it today, and
yeah,
have someone else that can help you pick up the slack. I think that's very important. And you know it's so dope that you guys can have each other, being in the same church and in the same community. And also for us, that was one of the biggest things why Espacio community was created. Yeah, we fool around and we horse around all the time, but it's like moments like these where you need someone to lean on, or you need someone to talk to about a situation that you're going through. You're able to do that because as we know, not many, and we've had situations, man, we've had situations of people that have reached out to us separately, and it's like, hey guys, like I really don't have anyone to talk to you guys about this. And they'll reach out to us and they'll get vulnerable with us. And that was for us, it's like it's rewarding because that's the reason why we do it. Because I was there at one point. I know what it's like to fight fighting my fight and feeling like I'm alone. So those are one of the many challenges that youth face in today's world. Frank, talk to me a little bit about the stuff that you've kind of struggled with, or have been challenges for you as a young Christian adult?
Yeah, so for me, I know Samuel joined.
Hey, yo, hey, la producción aquí, yo, but let me know where you putting me in the
Si,
screen, bro.
si,
Wait,
si tú te metes, yo te meto.
I was like, I was so ready to listen to him. Okay, just don't stop that episode. We keep on going. I'm so sorry.
No, you're all fun, man. I know some struggles I had for sure was like you said, I did sports, high school. I did it throughout like basically my sophomore year to my up to my senior year. Um, and I did two, not only one. I did football and wrestling. So those were the two sports that I did. And honestly, I just feel like if I just had like back then, I was more like really strived into this. I kind of feeded my parents into thinking, hey, this is really gonna work out for me. I need to do this. And sometimes I was like, yes, I'm gonna miss church sometimes. And then I just kind of lied to them in a way. I just kept saying, oh yeah, it's gonna work out, like, trust the process or whatnot. But I honestly wish, like, I would have never done sports, to be honest. I feel like it definitely impacts your life, your Christian life a lot, especially when you're surrounded with a lot of like, people that aren't really, Christian. Um, and with the sports, you see a lot of things. You see like people like, cursing, getting really like annoyed or mad at the sport. You see you hear music, that was one of the biggest things for me as well. You hear music, everywhere, like at the games, and you get a lot of attention. So, and that for me was, I was kind of a person who, I guess, not in a way like seeked it, but like I kind of confirmed my own self by the likes of others. So that's how I, before I was non-Christian, the way that's how I kind of rolled. Like people like, oh, yeah, who's that? Like, like every like not to be egotistical, but like people like knew me because of the sports that I did. Um,
Always
and
humble, of course, of course.
but with all that attention, a lot of peer pressure comes in. A lot of temptation comes in, and I was somebody who was easily influenced, especially like around the people I was around. It was really hard for me. And then like the same thing for my job. Like how Jacob said, I was like a completely different person. Like I can't even like compare myself to who I am now. The way I had a dirty mouth. Like I would, in every sentence I spoke, like something came out. um and then the same thing with music. Sometimes I would be like, hey, like, let me play something. I got you. Put you on. That's what I would.
Pass me the ox.
I
Pass
got you.
me the
I
Yeah,
got.
ox.
I got you.
I'd be
I
like,
got you with the. I got you with the Drake. I'm gonna pull up the Drake one.
Yeah,
that's
no.
I was like, let me hop on Ox or something. Y'all think trash, but honestly, like that's how it was at my job. Honestly, thank God, like, that speaker broke, like, so now we don't even work with music anymore. Um, but
Oh, for real?
yeah, like
That's
it
good.
doesn't even work no more. They took it away. I think they threw it away. um, and then, but now, like, we work in silence each and every day. And then whenever I can, I plug in AirPods and I listen to my own, music, which helps out a lot. But what was I gonna say? Um, that was one of the things that I struggled with a lot, especially the fitting in part too. I've always wanted to fit in with everybody else, and like that's something I honestly regret doing so much. I should have, listened to that small voice in the back of my mind saying, "Hey, you're doing something bad," but I would always ignore it. And then I would always just try to seek the best of the people surrounding me. I would always try to seek their approval on literally everything that I did, and it was something that consumed me a lot, and I regret it so much. So, like, if you're listening to this, like, it's okay to be different. It's okay to like different things. It's okay to do different activities than other people. It's okay to miss out, like, on things such as prom. I honestly wish I would have missed that.
Why Frank give me the popular guy
No,
vibe in the school, bro? I don't
He
know
was
no,
why.
lucky popular.
You
I
see,
promise.
he was. It's okay. It's okay to admit that
No,
sometimes we're the troublemaker. Like what Dick.
No, I was a good boy.
It's okay. Like
nah,
so, you don't have to be influenced by somebody, but sometimes you're the one that influenced the other people. You
did
know,
nah.
did
it feel like that sometimes.
did you guys go to the same school?
Uh,
We did for a while until he
yeah,
decided
I
to
left.
transfer.
I left junior year to a different school. But we never went to school together. We went to the same school at different points in time.
Nice.
Hmm.
Okay.
But I
Mm.
kind of knew everybody from the other school, so it was like,
Everybody knows each
You
other
see,
in that
I'm
school.
yeah,
telling you what they get. He giving me the popular guy vibe. I'm telling you. It's
Nah,
like I
no,
play
the thing is
football
about
and everybody
the
knows Frank.
no, everybody in that school does know each other though, so I
hmm
give them that.
yeah, like it's not just you, you know. I mean, there is those guys
Yeah.
that everybody knows, but like
Yeah, but everyone's
everybody
really
knows each
popular.
other. Everybody
Yeah.
follows each other. Like that's how it was. But
So
um, mhm.
going from going from you know not being saved to now being saved and really trying to be different or really trying to follow Christ at 100%. What were the things that you think that the pressures, especially with friendships? I don't know, I don't know how it was for you guys, but especially once you start acting a certain way and your friends start noticing, and it's like, yo,
Where'd
but
he go? What
yeah,
happened to him? Yeah.
3 weeks ago, Frank, that Frank was cool with it. What's up with it now? Like, how was it? I mean, you know, did you have non-saved friends, and how did you kind of juggle with that pressure of having to be different?
hmm So for me, I gave my life to Christ after high school when I graduated. So it honestly kind of made it easier, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to see them anymore. I also moved places, so I didn't have that peer pressure of like, yo, let's go this place, or and now I'm like a little bit further away, and I honestly thank the Lord for that. And with those friendships that I had, graduating high school, you kind of cut, like, everybody, like, kind of distance themselves, unless it's those people you talk to each and every day. um but I know for me, I honestly, everybody knew each other from Instagram, right? So I decided to take the step to make a new Instagram account, and I no longer followed all those people. I kind of, like, just disappeared. I let everybody know what was going on. I was like, I gave my, I'm changing my ways of who I am as a person. um
I don't want to
and
talk to you
then
anymore. It's okay. It's
but
okay.
but you don't get a response, so it just makes it easier to just tell them, and then I gotta go, bye. But
Yeah, yeah.
At least
the
you
people
tell them because there's
yeah.
people they just disappear.
Mhm. But the people that I did talk to every day, I kind of let them know, like, hey, and then they also noticed something different. But with most of them, with me moving, I kind of just stopped talking to them in general. But with people at work, my coworkers, they usually, I know one day I pulled up to work, and they were like, yo, you look different, like, you look happy. And then all I did was just tell them, I was like, man, God changed my life. And then he just looked at me, and he was like, really, that's amazing, I'm proud of you. And then I was like accepted, like, not really that I was looking to be accepted, but I was just naturally accepted, that everybody knows me, I'm a changed man. They kind of uh like, were, like, proud of me in a way. And those are the people that, like, you can, like, I guess, like, tolerate in your life, and especially preach to. You could definitely, speak some words to them, obviously not forcing my religion into them, but speaking of God and letting them know that there's like, Jesus loves you. And like, at work, like I just try my best, sometimes just mind my business. There's those days where you're just kind of quiet, and then there's those days when you're like energetic and ready to work. But work is work. We all got our own lives there, so just gotta keep trying with them and seeing, if any of them ever want to, give it a shot, go to church one day.
And I think that it's so. I think I really love that you said that. People notice it, man, and people say, it's like, yo, like, there's something different about you, and that's almost like them throwing bait at you, like, all right, this is me, like, I gotta reel in the fish, and being vulnerable and letting them know, it's like, yeah, there definitely is something different about me, like, I'm a saved person, God came into my life and flipped it 180 degrees, and I say it time and time again. I admire so much that you guys can be so vulnerable about that and open about it,
And that
because
was very mature, bro. Because me personally,
100%.
imagine me giving my life to Christ at 18, bro. I always been a clown. Imagine me getting to school, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, there's something different in you." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm safe. You're not." I will be, I will be something like that. That was
Crazy.
very mature in your side, brother.
No,
Because
for sure.
Samuel, 17 years old,
That was
is
like,
tough.
mind you, that was like 2 years ago. He swears he's 25,
How old
30
are
years
you?
old, but
No. I'm 22, but I'm saying I'm 22. Hey, yo, Frank, what was that?
That was
Yo,
like 2 years ago.
I don't know. My bad. I just kind of got shocked a little.
wait, pause, yo. I'm
Now, to be
22
honest,
years old.
I thought you were like
I thought you were
25. So
16 or 17, honestly.
that's crazy, bro.
Okay, like I said in the comments, guy, just because his voice sounds like a 35 grown
Do
man,
not sound like
it doesn't mean that. But I'm saying that if it was in my part, me, being saved, like when I graduate after whatever, I think I will be. I don't know, because everybody knew I was a Christian, but I don't know. Probably I don't know the feeling to get to school and then it's like, hey, you look different, because I
Mhm.
always been different since they know me. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that was very mature on your side, and
No, for sure. Yeah, and honestly, that maturity didn't come out of nowhere. It was honestly kind of Jacob, just telling me like, "Hey, man, you gotta, you gotta like stop seeking approval of others." Like we would just have those long talks of him just telling me like, "Yo, like, you gotta actually like, there's no meaning to life without God in your life." And it was just those words that were just like, going into my head, and I was just thinking about it. I would take time to actually think about it because yeah, my parents, they look at me and they're like, oh yeah, he goes to church with us, he's Christian. But in reality, I have a whole nother life when I went to school. And so I had kind of that double life, and I
yeah,
was lying in
definitely.
the mix of it. And honestly, it was really horrible, but God does miracles in people's lives and he changes lives. So I'm honestly really grateful for that. I'm grateful for, Jacob, for helping me a lot along the way.
Jacob is the one that been so calm. What how was your life, Jacob? Because I see that you're very calm and very, you know.
Um, well, I wouldn't say I'm calm, but
Yo,
um,
Frank. Okay, never mind. I take that back. Frank just laughed. Never mind.
yeah, no. Well, first of all, I want to address what Frank just said. I don't think I've ever said this to Frank, but I'm very proud of Frank. Um, I've seen
No,
him.
you never said
I've
it.
seen like, all right, bro. I've seen him. I've seen the way he's changed. The last couple of months. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, I'm not gonna get emotional or anything, but the way he gave his life to Christ and everything, the way I've seen him change, it even inspires me sometimes. Like honestly, I feel like he just came in, he went all in, with God, and it it um it even impacted my life because I know that um one of my prayers when I first gave my life to Christ was because when I gave my life to Christ. Most of the youth at our church wasn't really close to God either. So
Mm,
it was like God, do something with the youth at our church, which in itself is another testimony because most of us are actually baptized now. We all got baptized on the same day.
that's amazing.
Um, and I can see how God has been doing things with our youth. You know what I'm saying? But Frank especially, just because like I said, I've seen him, I've seen the way, I've we've been friends since like I think I was like 5 when I first met him.
Yeah.
Um, so it's kind of crazy to see what God has done in his life. And it impacts me even today, honestly. Um, but as for me, that double life that Frank talked about was is also big for me. Because my parents, like I mentioned, they're strict, so it just kind of forced me to, just make sure they never found out about anything. So, um,
You know,
and
it's funny you
Well,
say
DJ,
that.
when you said yes like that,
Listen,
bro.
listen, listen, because I can relate so much, man. Like those who know my dad, you know,
Oh
man.
yeah, we can tell. We can tell.
Listen, my dad is a sweetheart. My dad is, man, he wears his heart on his sleeve. But he was also very strict growing up. Like it was like we're not missing church. I was always, man, always so much into sports. I tried baseball for a little bit and he was like, I remember I was late to one service and Buddy was like, nah, we ain't missing church for this. So he said, that's out of the window. That's out the door. I tried doing band for a little bit
By the
and he
way,
said,
those who doesn't know Juan Dique, he trying to be Big Papi, so I don't know why he was
oh
trying
my
to do
god.
it, bro. He plays first base. I don't know why he was trying to do it,
um
bro.
then I
yeah,
tried doing the whole marching band thing and it's like you missing church on a Friday, you definitely ain't doing
Nah.
that. So
And
he's
the big
like,
calling to pick you up?
yeah,
Heck
nah, he's like,
no.
no, so it's like, but now that I think about it, and even when I was 22, 23, 24 years old, bro, I was a little wild. Um, I feel like for me, bro, the fact that I had to kind of cover myself up, I think kept me from derailing myself. And it's like, I have like this image that I have to portray to my parents, and there's certain things that I can't do. So it's just like I think that having such strict parents to me is probably what saved me from completely leaving God, because it was almost like it's I have to kind of fake it till I make it. And God was probably like, bro, you can only fake it for so much. Like, come here.
Yeah.
So it kind of kept me, right there. So I can agree with you, bro. It's like
yeah,
having that, those strict parents, man. It's like it's a blessing in disguise.
yeah, it really
Okay.
is, honestly. Um, I think I'm not gonna say I don't know how to word it, but I think I did a pretty good job. Just based off honestly the fact that when I gave my life to Christ, just because I've never been really, especially well now, yeah, but before when I wasn't Christian, I didn't have the best relationship with my parents. So when I gave my life to Christ, I didn't even tell him, honestly. I didn't tell him for a good minute. Um, and I think it was just after they started noticing that I would be different. Um, just I think just more respectful in a way too. That I started to
Bro,
go into
it's
church.
disrespectful.
All right, bro, come on now. So I think just going to church on my own too, or starting to do things on my own, that had to do with God, um, is kind of what they were honestly, I would say the only people that I was like, all right, I want to see if they notice, before me telling them. Um, because as a kid, I think I tried so many times. It was like, okay, God, I'm gonna give my life to you today, and then next week you're doing something dumb, you sinning or doing something just trying to fit in or something like that. And I can't even remember how many times I said, all right, I'm gonna convert now, or I'm gonna stop doing this now. But yeah, I think the whole fitting in part is probably one of the biggest struggles for youth, especially in high school. I'm glad that
For
that
sure.
I didn't have to go to high school while I was Christian because honestly now I think I only talk to like one person from high school.
Wow.
Um
And that person
because
is Frank, by the way. Nah, just kidding.
nah. Yeah, no. Um just one of my friends that stuck since high school, I guess. And in a way it's only because we she doesn't live here anymore, so we barely talk. But I'd say that that's like the only person that I'll tolerate in my life that isn't Christian because having non-Christian friends honestly does a lot. People think that oh no, it's okay, like they're not gonna make me do this and I may do that, but you
It's
just
rough. Yeah.
it's not you say you're not gonna do anything, but then you catch yourself doing dumb stuff with them. So and it doesn't help, honestly. I don't think unless you're preaching to them, I think you just love them from a distance because um you just they just influence you to do bad things, honestly. So for me personally, I'd say I'd rather just cut all those people off. I
Facts.
didn't have that many friends in high school anyway, so it was easy for me.
We have our third guest finally decided to show up.
Dang, bro. An hour
Better get
late.
that suit ready.
Perdónenme, yo le debo una disculpa a ustedes. No quieran saber lo que pasó.
Just an English
That
episode.
man fell asleep.
No, I'm kidding.
Se nota, se nota.
Yo, Jahir, if you can put your camera sideways, bro, like horizontal.
No, así.
There we go. Wait, do you have
The
like
other way.
no?
Turn your
Do you have do you have like
He has it on lock.
yeah? Do you have
He has it
your thing
locked.
on lock?
Oh, ya.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
we
By the
go.
way, the seguro he was in campaña, so now he should show up. He's like, oh, we have
Amén.
an episode. I
Así
forgot.
mismo. Así mismo, Samuel.
Jahir, so man, we're happy to have you.
Sí.
Kind of just giving a little summary or a recap of what we've been talking about.
Ujú.
Jake and Jacob and Frank have been able to give us a little bit about their testimony. About what it's
Amén.
like, to be Christian. What do they get out of it, and what's the challenges they've been able to face as youth. The thing that really what's it called sticks out about Jacob and Frank is that they were able to find God after they got out
Ujú.
of school. So it's a little different because you're still in school.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, how has that been for you? Especially in a city like New York, bro.
Yeah.
He's crazier.
How
In
is
a city
that?
like New York,
Like,
even,
how is that for
wait.
you? Like, how is it? Like picking up your cross every day and following Jesus, in your society, bro.
Realmente, en a city like this, no es fácil, para nada. Las tentaciones, y más para un joven que está tratando cada día de acercarse
I
más
don't
a
know
Dios, ¿verdad?
if somebody tell Jahiel that this is an English episode. I don't know if somebody
Yeah,
told him.
I
Oh,
was gonna say
my
that.
bad, my bad.
No, just
El English,
just for
because
you to
English
know.
is not my first language. But in a city like New York, it is not easy. It is not easy. Especially if someone for a youth that is trying to get closer to God, when like I'm still in school, like you said, and opportunities to do the wrong thing are always like presented to me, and I just have to ask God, like, besides the mistakes that I've already made, I just have to ask God, God, I want you to help me because I know what you have for me is way better than what the world has to offer me. So
Wow.
it's just an everyday battle with the devil, and I just have to like constantly keep preparing myself, like reading the Bible, fasting, and all I ask God is for like for me not to make the same mistakes that I've already made because I get nothing out of it. Like what the devil wants for us is destruction. He wants to lie. He wants to lie to us, and he wants to make us think that God doesn't want anything to do with us. And once he makes us think that, he's just gonna throw us around like we're just his tests, like his play rats. So that's not what God wants for us. But at the same time, we're gonna have to go through a process when we choose to walk with God. Not everything is gonna be easy. We're gonna have to get hurt while we're getting closer to God. Like my pastor was saying last night, we may cry when we read the Bible. We may be hurt by what we read, but it's all because God loves us. The Bible says that His word is more sharp than a two-edged sword, meaning that when we hurt us because it's the truth. My dad, when he was talking to me on Saturday, I was having a talk with him, and I said this a lot. It was like it's not what I wanted to hear from him because I was excited. I was like, God, I want to talk to you about this. And it's not what I wanted to hear from him, but it's what I needed to hear from him. Like God knew that me talking to him and being honest with him being honest with me, and including the Bible with it was gonna be something that I needed to hear. But at the moment, I felt bad. I felt like, wow. At that point, like I might as well just kept that to myself because I didn't need to hear that. Well, I thought that I didn't need to hear that. But the way God does His things, they're just better. So.
You know what's funny? Sometimes youth they think
Mhm,
that when you talk to God, it's like oh my God, obviously with so much respect, but
mhm.
people think that you have to go to God and it's like, oh God, I'm here. No, you can talk to God like you're
Oh,
open.
that's
You
your
can
that's
talk to
your
God, hey
bestie,
God,
bro.
man, I'm tired of being here. Like I'm tired of school. Like
Take
I
me
want to
take me
punch
out,
somebody.
like
Facts.
Elijah said. Take
Yo,
me out.
and it's normal. Sometimes you go to
Yeah.
school and go
Oh,
to and you go to work and it's like, God, this man got me tired. I want to punch
it's
these
it.
people.
It's it. We're not robots. We have
and
emotions.
that's
We have
and
the right
that's
to feel how we feel.
and
We,
exactly that's where you have to hold yourself and be God
yeah.
and be
No.
like, God help me because
Wow.
this customer got me tight, and and I'm gonna pull up the Peter one, you know, and it's been like that sometimes. And me personally, I learned that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I see God like like my boy, like I'm talking to one of you guys, but I'm talking to my father, like, hey,
Yeah.
this is what's happening, and I have this idea, but it's not working, God. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Am I stupid? Like, what's going on? And sometimes when we learn how to communicate with God, uh, I don't know. For me, it's
Uh-huh.
like you understand more
Right.
because God is our father. It's our boy,
Amen.
and we just have to
Amen.
be and have that approach, with like, hey, being honest, because he already know how we're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So if we be honest, we're like, hey, God, hey, hear me out. Like how just me we'll be pulling up right now. It's been funny to me because when somebody's talking too much, I heard Jenna say, "Joppy." These people be jopping
Mm-hmm.
so much, you know,
Yapping,
and
yeah.
and
You don't even know
sometimes
what to do
you
anymore.
pull up to God just like
Mm-hmm.
that. God, I don't want to be jumping with you, but I'm tired. I'm
Mm-hmm.
tired of
Yeah.
all of this, And it's like, God, hey, you know how I am, and this person is pissing me off. Even, and let me tell you something, we're humans. Even in church, that maybe for a couple years ago, like 6 years ago, I had like an issue with Holman in the juveniles, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that issue with that man. Always an issue with him. And I went to God one time and I'm like, God, if you don't do something, I don't wanna do a whole drama, but I will punch him even in church. I don't
Nah.
That's
care.
crazy, man.
Oh my God, do something with me. I'll do something with him because
Mm-hmm.
if he keep on going, he's pissing me off, you know. And it's
Who's
like
squaring up?
sometimes, bro, it's me like that sometimes, and we're human, and probably we think that, oh my God, we're so holy that
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff is not gonna happen to me. But bro, I don't know about you, what thinking, but sometimes there's
Nothing, bro.
people, there's people pushing
I'll be
buttons,
ready
man.
to. I'll be ready to square up.
They test you like there's no tomorrow, bro. Hi, bro.
You know, I love what he's mad. I commented. She says we have chosen the toughest road, the infamous road, but the road that has its recompense, eternal life. And in this life, we have the Holy Spirit, which is our peace and a counselor in the midst of our trials. And that's 100% true, man. Like,
There's people that make this road tougher.
Mm-hmm. There has to be.
Yeah, for sure.
There has to be. So just to like close it down a little bit. First Kings 19, just like you were saying, Samuel. We could see that Elijah, he was running from Jezebel because he heard that he wanted to kill him, right? And he tells God in verse 3. He said, "I haven't had enough, Lord. Take my life, for I'm no better than my fathers." Then he laid down and he slept under the broom tree. So he always see him surrender, not surrender. He's trying to give up. There is a difference surrendering to God and giving up. When you surrender your God, when you surrender to God, you're giving yourself up so He can do His works. When you try to give up, you're saying, "I'm not doing this," and you just walk right out. So then the Bible says that suddenly an angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." Then he looked, and there was his head. His head was a loaf of bread baked over hot stones and a jug of water. So he ate and drank and lay down again. Then the angel of the Lord returned for a second time and touched him. He said, "Get up and eat, or the journey will be too much for you." So he got up and ate and drank. Then, on the strength from that food, he walked 40 days and 40 nights to Oreb, the mountain of God. He entered a cave there and spent the night. So we can see that obviously the angel was God sent. So the angel that God sent him was to tell him that the road is gonna be too hard for him if he doesn't get up and eat. As Christians, if we don't look for God every single day, the road is gonna get hard. And eventually, instead of surrendering to God, we're gonna want to give up because the pressure is too much. So that's what I'm trying, like personally, like because I know what my tough battles are. I know what my personal battles are. So every day I just tell God, like,
and
God,
and
oh,
and hey man, sometimes what we need is like, brother, stop the drama and just like raise up and just keep on walking, bro. And
Facts.
this is not stopping. Stop the drama.
mm-mm,
Because sometimes people, they especially us youth, we like the pastor, the president to come, and
mm-hmm,
he's like, "Don't worry, man. You're doing great. You're doing good." And sometimes it's
mm-hmm.
not like that. Sometimes it's like, "Hey, yo, yo, you need to keep
Sometimes
on
we
going,
need,
man.
Yeah, lock in.
You
uh-huh.
want you literally lock in, brother. Let's go. Don't
Sometimes we
stop
need
there."
a helping hand instead of like, because people love to assume, especially for Hogan. Oh yeah, at the Hogan, this Hogan is good. Like, he doesn't need any help, but instead we just need someone to be there for us. Are you okay? How are you doing mentally, spiritually? But yeah, that's all I had to say.
By the way, I don't want to look crazy, so I'm gonna ask every people here,
Mm.
because I don't want to look crazy. Am I the only one, Frank, that I tried to pull up the Peter one and cut somebody ear? Am I the only one? You never got that feeling?
Yo,
Listen, I don't know what's in the water. I don't know what's in the water in North Carolina, but they look like they're zen, bro.
it's better. It's better for me to just put my hands like this, like I have handcuffs, and not do anything because
Yo, I don't know. I
some
don't
people
know,
have
Jake. I don't know, Jacob and
temptation,
Frank,
bro.
if y'all never had that feeling, bro. Because I don't know if I'm very,
Uh-uh.
like this, but I don't know. You never had that feeling, Frank, that is like, hey, don't do it.
I mean, my church, I feel like there's like just we're like all like slowly getting united. So I feel like there's not like as a lot of like drama or a bunch of like things
It
that you
can be
see
outside
going
too.
around.
You don't have to be
And
in church.
outside, I feel like just God, like even back then, I've always been like chill. I've always minded my own business. I've never really holded like grudge or hate, like strong hate, even before giving my life to Christ. So I just feel like that's helped me out a lot, especially when I do get like mad or things like that. I would never be like, yo, I'm about to like hurt you, like in a way, like I've always just
Yeah.
kept it chill. And because my parents they've always taught me, don't be violent, like you may have the size to do something, but like don't do it. It's never like
And so ironic,
worth
because
that.
you used to
Mhm.
play football, right?
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, he let his anger out.
one
He
thing,
had a way to let his
so,
anger out.
so one thing, you used to play football, American football, and he's chill, like a nice
Yeah,
guy,
well,
like.
all right, if you're putting sports, that's different. Sports I had
You had
like
that
sports I
dog.
had a different mentality. Yeah, like I didn't care who was on the other side. Especially with wrestling,
So,
especially when it's like a one-on-one, your thing is to like defeat your opponent. So like I would, yeah, I mean, but that's different though. But it's not like
mhm.
me having any like grudge or hate towards the person. It was just a sport naturally, how it is. Mhm. I
And
don't know
I'm
about
imagine,
Jacob.
I'm imagine Jacob too.
Nah,
Yeah.
nah, nah. I barely honestly get mad. If anything, I think it'd be towards my friends that I get that sometimes piss me off, but like Frank. But like I said,
Mhm. He's a big
it's
teddy bear.
like that's
Joe,
insane.
I
He
got
just said that.
Joe, I don't know about you, I'm thinking, but me personally, God, yo, he put me in some situation, brother, that Joe, I remember one time. Oh
He was like,
my
"What you gonna
God,
do now?"
I remember one time that I always been, very, friendly with everybody, but if you get in my nerves, I was I was very, you know.
Ay, ay, ay.
And one time, I don't know, I was in the Bible school one Sunday, and we were talking about, I don't even know, anger and how to deal with people, blah, blah. And I was like, all right. And I asked the teacher, I'm like, sometimes there is people that get in your nerves. And, as a Christian, obviously, you try to, calm down,
And then,
whatever, because you're the Christian one and you always want to be an example.
mhm.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if somebody touched me? What if somebody,
Mm,
really wanted, physical violence?
yeah.
Take your
How
all
I
day, all
supposed
day,
to
bro.
react? Because I'm very quick. Especially in that
Yeah.
time.
Gotta
Not
cash
anymore,
out.
because obviously, yeah, I feel, ya uno está viejo para eso. I feel that not anymore. But before, I was very quick to, fuck what?
Hit them up with
That's
a little
it.
combo.
Here we are.
That's
Here we
crazy.
are, brother. Boom. De una. We're not playing in here. And I was like, I'm very like that, and I don't want to be in a situation that I get to a physical violence with somebody.
Yeah.
And the
Mhm.
teacher, he's my best friend. He's like, well, the Bible said, brother, on the chin. I was like, ooh, brother, that sounds hard
That is
for
crazy
Sam.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds hard for Sam. Whatever. I don't know the time, but whatever. And one time I was in my carpentry because I went to a vocational school. It was very nice. I had 1 week academy and 1 week vocational. It was nice.
Mhm.
Um, and I had carpentry with a couple people, whatever. And one of the guys, I don't know, that day he was just like somebody else. I don't know. I was always nice with people, and we
Bro.
were playing whatever. And we were talking, blah blah blah. And then this guy, he's like, "Oh Sam, whatever, shut up," something like that. And I'm like. Yo, bro, I'm not the only one here, right? What's happening? Why exactly me? And he was like, "Oh, shut up," something like that. And then I was like, "Nah, bro, not with me. Like, what are you talking about? I don't even talking to you, blah blah." And he's like, "Oh, whatever." And then he starts saying a lot of stuff and cursing, blah blah. And this guy, he grabbed my face. So
Oh
he's
yeah,
like,
no,
"Bob," and he's like, push me like that.
He took
Bro,
it physical.
that's
I
crazy.
was, bro, I don't know, bro. I don't, a lot of stuff came to my mind. I was like, we're in the carpentry. I can just grab a hammer, brother, and destroy you right
Yeah.
now.
Wait, how
Like,
old were you?
that's, I was, I was like 16.
Dang.
Oh,
I was
Damn.
bro.
like 16, 17 around there. I think, no, I was 16. And I was like, this dude, he just touched me in my
Yeah, nah, it
face.
would have been over.
And I was nervous, and bro, me saying this, bro, I'm shaking because I remember that moment, and I was like, nah, bro, como buen dominicano, yo te voy a partir tu cabeza, mi hermano. This is not staying here. And
Dominicana
and then
man.
and this is funny because I was so mad, and everybody just like, what is it? What this gonna do? And I was like, oof, I breathed. And in that time, I felt the Lord call me. And I was like, all right. I grabbed my bag and I left. And I was so mad with myself. Me walking, I'm like, there's no way, God, that you're making me walk
I
away.
can't believe
Because
you just gonna let me walk
I can,
away.
bro. Yo, everybody gonna be like, oh yeah, that's the guy that blah blah blah. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
how do you gonna leave
X
it like that,
X.
bro? This is not it, bro. And I was talking to guys so mad walking. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
there's no way. This is so. I'm so ashamed.
Dude.
Blah 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 blah. I'm like, God, Joe, tomorrow I'm coming and I'm gonna destroy that guy. There is no way that you
He was praying
making
on
me
his
go
downfall.
through this. Like, there's no way that you making me go through this. And
Dude.
then, bro, sometimes you have to suck it up, bro. It's just. I don't know. That for me, that was the worst situation. One thing that I ever.
That's rough.
imagine, so, imagine somebody practically that's una galleta, bro. It's just not it, bro, for me.
Dude, you're lucky I wasn't there. I feel like I would have just instigated that.
Oh,
Dude.
dude,
What
you
Oh,
were
gonna let
you,
him
no
yo,
do
you
that,
gonna let
way,
him
bro?
walk
no way
away?
you
Intentionally?
You
leave
gonna
me.
let him do that and walk
No
away?
way, no
Nah.
way you're
Yeah,
gonna walk,
facts.
bro. And
That's
everybody,
crazy.
bro,
Me
and
personally.
everybody just like know me that I'm cool with everybody, blah blah. But like, if you get in my nerves, like. Joe, si Dios no me sostiene, mi hermano, there's gonna be a fight here, and I don't
Yeah.
fight
Dije,
any.
llévatelo si no te lo
And,
mando.
and in that time, I wasn't, de que cuadrame, whatever. No, bro, yo te caigo encima. And bro, sometimes you need to, you need to be like Peter, but not do the action that Peter did, bro.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to me one day, yeah. It's just, but yeah, it's just crazy. So yeah, Samuel, what a shame, bro. To be honest, right now, probably I don't regret it because who knows what would I do? But nah, I said it's not worth it.
That
It's
was
not
here.
worth it.
That was
The-
here
Huh?
in DR. Like, did that
No,
happen
that was
here?
here, bro. That was here. In the air,
Oh,
I fought so much, but that was here, bro.
that
I
was
was like, there's no way,
God protected you then, cause
man. Man, That was crazy. But when they get wrapping up, we're having something before finish the episode. And thank you everyone for listening. There's people that be saying, "Hey, I don't understand why you guys be saying." I'm sorry, it's the English episode. What can we do?
Yeah,
I want
facts.
to get.
That's right. So someone wanted to end the episode with some rapid fire questions. So we're gonna jump into them rapid
Oh
fire.
Lord.
So
We're not gonna be talking so much about it. It's just this or that, you know.
Mhm.
So,
so it says, would you rather have a lifetime supply of your favorite food or a lifetime supply of your favorite beverage?
bro, I don't have
I
a
would
favorite
say
food.
I
So,
would say my favorite beverage.
What do you like to
really?
drink?
Um, low key, never mind, because I like Red Bull a lot, so I'll probably die.
No, bro,
I'll
you
probably
no, but they can have a
On the
hate love,
hospital
bro.
bed.
We Red Bull here.
yeah. Now that
Man's
I'm
trying to
thinking
kill
about it,
himself.
I think
I gotta
I would
keep
say
up with
my
the
favorite
flavors.
food, bro.
I'd say favorite food for sure.
Yeah, I
Favorite,
think I would go with
food.
favorite food.
No,
It says here, would you rather have the power to never feel physical pain or never feel emotional pain?
Physical pain, for
Exactly,
sure.
because if you don't feel emotional pain, you're just gonna be like a
You're not even
walking
human
You're
or
gonna be
corpse.
a
something.
robot, bro.
you're
Exactly,
right. You're
You're
right.
not even
Yeah,
human.
physical pain for
Like,
sure.
Yeah,
exactly. So
physical pain.
this one
That is
says,
it. You're not
for
even
sure.
human, then,
Especially,
if you don't feel physical.
especially if you play
I mean,
sports. Like, when you get injured, you just don't want to go through that.
You just yeah.
it says, would you rather? I'm sorry, it's getting close to my bedtime. It says, would you
No,
rather have
bendito
the?
anciano.
9:30.
It says, would you rather
you got
have
6 minutes.
exactly? I'm hurting. Would you rather have the power of telekinesis, which is the power of moving objects with your mind, or would you rather have the power of telepathy, that you'll be able to read minds? What would you rather do?
Move things with my mind.
I'm
Yeah, moving stuff
I'm
with my
reading
mind.
everybody mind.
Yeah, really,
Literally, because
bro.
it's like I'm not
I
trying to
think,
be stuck in traffic.
Nah, bro.
no,
Magic, you got it, bro.
no, I have enough, bro, for my
Why you
reading my own thoughts. Imagine other people, bro. No, there's no way.
why you want to read people's minds?
You
Nah,
Nah, it's
just
low-key hard because then like what
you
if you
just
hear something you don't want to hear, you know? Like then
Exactly.
I don't
Like
know. I'd go with
you imagine
telekinesis
you
for
using
sure.
but
speakers
then you just I don't know, it's just easier.
and
Just
you
take it like
inquire in
normal.
the Silva's mind, and
Easier
you're
to
like,
what, be
what
nosy?
you thinking about? And she's thinking
Hey,
about a whole different thing. Is crazy.
Nah.
this one
Uh,
says
Telekinesis for sure.
This one says, "Would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button for the in your life?"
rewind.
wait, hold on,
Rewind.
hold on, hold
Wait, what's the pause button supposed to do?
on.
I
Yeah,
mean,
You
I
just
I
you
like
gotta take a
you
break
just
from
pause
life.
it in the present. You can't pause in the in like in the past.
I think it will be present. Yeah.
So you just
Nah,
pause the moment you're in.
I guess.
I think rewind.
Rewind
Yeah,
for
I'd
it will
say
be
sure.
rewind.
Definitely
rewind.
want to go to
Rewind.
the back. I mean to the past.
yeah, I think I would definitely. I think I would like pause. I would like to
Mm.
pause. At this point, it is what it is.
Lo que
Would
pasó,
you
pasó.
would you rather be a
All right, bro.
genius in a world full of mediocrity, or would you rather be an average in a world full of geniuses?
I will be an average, bro.
I feel like
There's
Average.
no
average
way
because if
I'm
everybody else was a
around.
Nothing and
genius,
nobody changes me, bro.
then like
Exactly.
you're at least something, you know? You're average. But
It says, would you rather be a professional athlete in your least favorite sport or a mediocre performer in your favorite sport?
Bro, mediocre performance, bro. There's
mediocre
no way.
Mediocre
Yeah, me
There
too.
performance
is no way I'll
for
play
sure.
ballet, bro. There is no way I'll play ballet, bro, and be good at it.
I could. Oh yeah, I could be batting 260 and play baseball. I don't care.
That's not
You know,
mediocre. That's not mediocre in baseball, though.
260? Like that's bad.
That's actually average.
Nah, you're not gonna catch me playing baseball and being
I
past
bet. Let's say under 200.
Wait,
Under
but what's y'all
200.
what's y'all least favorite sport though?
Baseball.
I don't have a least
Your
favorite
least?
sport.
baseball.
Oh
Yeah,
wait. Oh,
right.
you said least. My bad. My bad. Um,
Um, I don't. It would be something like I don't even
I don't
know.
even know
Like
either, but like swimming or something. Like who does that?
yo, who we playing
Tennis.
pickleball?
it's
Hey,
like
hey,
who
hey,
does that?
hey, I play
Who plays
tennis. Watch
pickleball?
that.
Oh my
I said
bad.
I
swimming. I
think
said
for me,
swimming.
actually, it will be tennis for me.
Hey, you
Tennis?
can make
Nah,
you
that
can make
sounds
a
fun.
lot of money in tennis.
In tennis.
Um, it says here, would you rather be a famous actor in a terrible movie or an unknown actor in a fantastic movie? I guess an extra.
Unknown for sure. Because then if that
No
movie
movie.
does good, people gonna
Wait,
find out who you are.
if
You
you
know.
get yeah, but if you get famous in a terrible movie and then you will be in another movie probably and in another movie, who knows? Now
Wait, I
I
thought you
will
said
be
would you
nah.
rather be famous, like become famous, or already
Be
be
a
famous
famous
going?
actor. Be a famous actor in a terrible movie, or an unknown actor in a fantastic movie. So that means that
I
you,
think
yeah,
nah.
I guess you would
It means
already
you're
be
already
famous.
famous, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah. Oh,
I'll
then
take the fame.
nah, if that's the
Um,
I
case, then
take
yeah,
whatever
famous.
makes me the most money.
um,
I
it
was thinking
says
PlayStation.
business.
it
That
says,
work.
would you rather meet Paul or Peter from the Bible?
Peter, bro. Peter,
I feel like Peter.
Nah, I
Yeah.
say Paul, bro.
bro. He
Nah,
was
you
he
said
was
Paul, bro.
too active, bro.
Nah, Peter for
Nah, I gotta
sure.
say Paul.
He got your
I,
back.
I don't know. I have one specifically question to ask Paul, and it's like chisme de la Biblia that I wanna be like, okay, ¿cuál era tu aguijón? Talk to me, brother. Like I wanna know, bro. Come on.
I
I
would have
want to
thought you would
ask
have said
Peter, what
Peter,
did he
Sam.
feel like
Nah.
personally? Like,
Facts.
because the Bible says it, but why he felt when like that third rooster crowed? Like,
Yeah.
bro started crying at that moment. Bro. Like, it's crazy, bro.
Nah, Peter,
Yeah, man.
you're good. You
He
stay over there.
he felt it back,
We're
bro.
too look alike, so I don't want to be with you.
It's crazy.
Can you imagine? It says here, last question. I don't know why he would put this, but it says,
I,
if you would have to kick it with one person from Espacio Podcast
All right, bro.
between
all right. I'm
between
leaving. I'm
But
kicking
you,
No,
Mikey.
no, 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 no,
Mikey,
no,
I'm
no, no,
tired
no.
of you.
it
Nah.
says
This man
if you
actually
had to
left.
kick one person from Espacio Podcast. It says if you have to kick one person out,
you say
not
kick
kick
it,
it with
bro.
one
What?
person. No, it's if you would have to kick one person out of Espacio
Out of espacio.
between, I guess, the four of us that do this show, which is me, Faniel, Melky, or Samuel. Who would you kick? I would kick Samuel out because he doesn't know when to be quiet. That's
Oh,
who I
damn.
would. That's who I would kick out.
You said you, Faniel, Melky, or Samuel.
Yeah,
I feel like it's an easy answer, right? Samuel left, so
exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
he's not here
Bye
no more.
he
He
bye.
don't.
he a chatty patty, bro.
I mean, I
I
might as well hop on the bandwagon, I guess.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean, we were
man,
all gonna say Samuel regardless.
exactly. We were all gonna say someone anyway, so I appreciate you
Yeah.
guys. Now, but wrapping it up, man. I guess give us a give us some final thoughts. Any message that you would like to leave this episode with? Give to the youth that are watching us. And we'll start off with Jacob.
All right. I mean, I might as well just read a little verse that I thought of. Let me find this real quick. All right. So James 1:27 says, pure and undefiled religion before God and the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their trouble and to keep oneself unspotted from the world. So I think people talk about religion and relationship. I know y'all heard about that. People say it's about relationship, not religion and stuff like that. But I think it's really about both. Because the Bible doesn't mention that religion is the practical stuff like going to church and kind of being faithful to church and stuff like that. But it talks about visiting orphans and widows in their trouble, and to keep oneself unspotted from the world. I think that's very powerful. So, um, yeah, for if anybody's watching this and kind of hasn't found their way to God, I would say just think of it as a father-son relationship.
Mhm.
I know for me, I used to think I used to go to church and think that God was kind of a God of wrath, like he's gonna punish you every time you do something bad. But getting to know him, it's like, nah, he just loves you. He literally sent his only son to die for all of us, you know what I mean? So there's nothing that you can ever do to earn God's love. Like
Amen.
he loves you unconditionally. So um it's never late until it's too late. So once we still have time, you can still come to God, give him your life. Um and yeah, I think that's it.
Amen. Awesome. Jayed, what do you have to tell us before we head out?
I mean, I want to like give a brief little message that I got from yesterday's preaching from my pastor. It was she preached in First Chronicles chapter 13, and he was talking about how sometimes we do the things that we find right, but to God that they're not right to God. So here it talks about David and the ark. When they were trying to move the David's ark, they didn't inquire to the elders on how to move it, like how to move it from one place to another. So when they were taking it like to Israel, they they it was falling, like the ark was falling, and Uzziah, like, he stretched his hand out. No, my bad. Uzzah, he stretched his hand out to like prevent it from falling. What he didn't know was that he couldn't touch the ark. Nobody could touch the ark. So the Bible says that he died right there and instantly. So this tells us that, like, even though he tried to do a good deed, he didn't know like what the what God has said. So I feel like we can include that to our lives when we look for God and we ask Him how to do the right thing, how to do what He likes, what He would like for us to do, what He pleases. God is gonna give us the answer, so we don't have to make a mistake that we're later gonna regret. Because nowadays, it's probably even better than back then. Like, this man died as soon as he touched the ark. Nowadays, God forgives us countless amount of times. So a job that I wrote was like, that she said that when the people of God, they unite and they do things with love and harmony, they can do great things. They can climb mountains. They can tear down giants. So that's something that as Christians in our church we should do. Like, instead of fighting against each other, instead of like being segregated or like not being together, we should just come to God in like in one body, because the Bible says that we are a body and God is the head. So when we come as a body and God finish it off with the head, there's nothing that can stop us, because we're going against the devil with all our strengths, especially with God. So even Jesus, he said it. Sometimes in our lives we may need like prayer, we may need fasting, and Jesus said it. He said all these things cannot happen if you don't fast, if you don't pray about them. So when we do things according to the Bible and according to how God wants them to be done, we're not gonna be doing them wrong. So I feel like that's a advice that I could give you guys, and I give myself too, because I just heard about this yesterday, and that's definitely something that I'll be taking into consideration every time I try to get closer to God. So
And I appreciate your input, and like you said, it's so important to keep that in mind. And I think that that's a message that as youth, we need to keep that in the back of our minds, and constant refresher, and understanding that it's like we can't do any of this without God.
Yeah.
It's and the way to get to that is through fasting and prayer, and how vital and how important that is to each and every one of our lives. So, Frank, let us know, man. Some words of wisdom before we wrap this up, and we'll be out of here.
I'd also like to give a verse of the Bible. It's in Jeremiah 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. Like God, He's always going to be there for you. He's just waiting for you with open arms for you to accept Him in your life, accept Him in your household. I just want to say, if you're struggling through something, if you're going through anything, if it's something that you're bottling up, not really want to open up with somebody, the best person to open up with would be God. He listens, He knows who you are as a person, and He's always going to be there with open arms. And if anybody who's struggling to fit in school or something, like like, it's okay to be different. God will reward you in the heavens with great richness, and just take that leap. It's the best decision I've made in my life, and it's something wonderful. It changed my life, and I just want to encourage anybody who hasn't to take that leap, and don't ever look back. Trust God, and Jesus loves you.
Amen. And thank you, all three of you, for joining us today. I've
Thank you,
had a
man.
blast speaking to you guys, and I appreciate you guys coming on here, sharing a little bit of your testimony, being vulnerable with us, and letting the youth out there know, man, that there is hope, and that hope has a name, and His name is Jesus. And He's just waiting for you. He's waiting for you with open arms. Not ready. He's not ready. He's not waiting for you to judge you, but He's waiting for you to give you all His love, and let you know that through Him there is salvation. So, like I said, thank you, each and every one of you guys, for being with us today on this episode, number 136, Christian Youth Chronicles. We'll be back next week, regular scheduled programming. It will be in Spanish for those who don't speak English. So yeah, thank you once again, everyone, and we will see you
Para
guys
los que
next week.
no hablan inglés,
Para que los
because
que
he's
no
in
hablan
English too.
inglés, la semana que viene episodio en español. Así que Dios les bendiga, tengan buenas noches.
May God bless you guys.
God bless you.
Everybody.